It's waiting, connecting.
Is that
Can you
working?
hear me?
Did
I
it work?
think so. I
Okay.
think it's working. How are you?
So good. How are you?
I'm doing all right, Doing all
Yeah.
right.
Gosh, it's been a crazy life, hasn't it?
It has been different.
Yeah.
Been different. Um, I would love for you to start off with this whole thing by just introducing yourself to everybody so that they know who you are and where they can find you and that
Okay.
sort of thing.
So I am Jannie Lisenby. I am the founder of redroofbarn.com and burnsavvy.com. I am a mother of five because I'm brave. Um, I'm happily married. We're going on our 13th anniversary this year.
Woo!
I just keep, sorry.
You're all right. You're all right.
Okay. But I got a little mini farm. We got chickens and big stuff. We plan to live off of our garden someday. And it's just I've got a really spoiled little Arizona mountain life.
It's amazing. And I don't know how you have time to do everything, but we're going to dive into that
I
for
don't.
sure. So, yeah, so you have five kids and you have a farm that you take care of, and you have your wood burning business, and
Yes.
you have Burn Savvy, and you still have a smile on your face. It's amazing.
It's a good life, you know.
It is a good
I'm
life.
one of those people that just I can't be bored. You know
I,
what I mean? I can't sit still and I can't get the ideas out of my head fast enough. And I
we
just
are, you and I, girl, we are cut from the same cloth.
it's so true.
Same cloth.
Hold on a second. Get down off the counter. Okay, you guys work it out. I'm doing stuff.
It's okay. They're all home right now. I totally get it. I'm sure you'll hear my screaming banshees at some point.
Yeah, well, and it's funny because I hear all these people talking about how much time they have, and they're just, oh my goodness, I just got so little to do, and I just have to laugh because I'm like, I I kind of wish I had your problem, you know? I don't.
Yeah.
I my children. At this,
Yes. But
you know how much I could do with all that time. So, and my
yes.
husband still works because he works at the nursing home, and so it's important that he's there.
Yes.
So it's just me and all the kids, and we kind of treat it like summertime, except that we can't go to the neighborhood pool and we can't go to
Right.
all these places, and we can't. So it's like,
Yeah.
we'll just do what we gotta do.
Yeah. Do what you can, do the best you can. Honestly, it's some good family bonding time, right?
Absolutely.
And I mean, there's something about, I mean, we always eat dinner as a family, but normally we go out to eat several nights a week, and we have date nights, and we're separated at times, and he's doing one thing and I'm doing something else, and
Right.
every single meal has been together as a family, and it's been really nice, like,
Huge. It's
yeah,
all, I love
yeah,
that.
yeah, it's been really great. Anyways, I want to know more about you. And okay, so you've been at home now for how many weeks now have you been sheltering in place?
Oh gosh, since it all started,
Yeah.
because I had my baby March 9th,
That's right. So it's really just been,
I was already planning to hunker down and
yeah,
stay put. And then spring break was the following week. So it was that week that everything started to shut down,
to
but
shut down. Yeah.
it hit us a little slower because we're in a smaller town, smaller community, and they were just slower to do all the stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the next week was spring break. So we went clean through spring break, but then it's just been a really long spring break for us. We never
Yeah.
went.
So how have you been, like, as far as your creativity goes? Has it been hard to find time to be creative right now?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. There's just there is no time.
Are you
So
staying up late or waking up early? A little bit of both?
I'm trying to keep my immunity strong because I'm nursing a baby. I'm trying to, stay healthy and all that. But I just am dying to get to all the stuff.
I
And
know.
so I find myself saying, okay, I've got an alarm set on my phone, 9 o'clock. You need to sleep as a
Good.
reminder. So about 11 o'clock, I quit putting snooze on my alarm. okay, I need to go get ready for bed. And I'm probably in bed by like, midnight or 1. So it's
Oh my gosh, that is too funny. That's
just
too funny. Well, you are like master of like coming up with great solutions for things. And so I was wondering if you have like any tips or pieces of advice of like how you're coping and how you're getting through all of this,
absolutely.
just like ways that people can, get through this a little bit happier, better, all of that stuff. Cause
For sure, because we all need a little more sunshine right now.
yeah, yeah,
Clouds are hurting, just use a little bit of sunlight.
yeah.
For me, one big thing has been letting go of some expectations.
Mm,
Because I'm one of those people who's like, did you do your chores? Did you practice your piano? Is the house clean? Da, 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 da. And then after a while, it's like, oh, except that we're all exhausted because not everyone works at mom's pace and not everyone's, you know, an adult.
yeah,
We've
yeah,
got
yeah.
little bodies that are like, I don't know how to clean the bathroom. So it's been a matter of slowing down,
Mhm.
allowing that slow down to benefit me. Um, I think another thing that's huge has been just the mindset of trying to think, what do I want to come out at the end of this? Because I do believe we're going to conquer this. We
Oh
are
yeah.
super resilient as a human race, and we're going to find some solution. You know what I mean? We always do. The
Yes.
Spanish flu, right? We're gonna come up with something. Um, but in the meantime, this is going to have a big effect on us.
Yes.
What kind of effect
Are
do
we
we?
gonna? Yeah.
That's the big thing because I believe that yes, you can make lemonade out of lemons, but I prefer lemon bars because they're better. So, how good can we make it? Let's make some lemon bars here. So
That is the most like perfect Jannie thing to say. Let's make lemon bars, you guys. Let's
yeah,
just
I mean, what else do you do with these giant lemons with
yeah.
ambrosia? So, if you have less time, let go of some expectations and enjoy the people that you live with. If you live alone, it's important to do those FaceTimes. A friend
Yes.
of mine dropped off something at the doorstep last night, and it is an invitation to a virtual paint party for one of our kids. So she's found a way to make this enjoyable for her little ones. I think it's a birthday party. I have to look at the invite.
We just sent out a this morning because I think they're outside right now, so I think it's safe for me to talk. My daughter's 6th birthday is coming up in a week, and so we are doing a Zoom call, and everybody is doing a different dance or song or
Perfect.
skit or whatever. They're just going to do some sort of performance for her, and she has no idea that it's happening. So I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
That is perfect.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So, like the creativity that people are coming up with right now, like this was all my husband. But it's great, and we're coming together in a different way. But I agree, letting go of expectations is something that I'm struggling with.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm finding new ways and new things to do with some of my time. You know what I mean?
Yes. Well, and repurposing
Yes.
and that kind of a thing, trying to roll other things into
Yes.
what you want to be.
Exactly.
And for me, a lot of times, because I I married my best friend and I thrive on time with him. At the same time, I gotta have some alone time too. And
Mm-hmm.
so there are evenings when he's like, "So is this a movie night, date night, or are you
Or
gonna
is it?
go
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
movie night?" Or
Which one is
um,
it? Yeah. Yeah.
so
Totally.
yeah, thanks.
I feel you on that one for sure. There's
Yeah, and I
nights where I'm like, want that, and other nights where you're just like, I just need to be, no one needs to touch me, and I just need to be left alone for a minute.
have a minute by myself. I'm gonna hide over here.
Just go in the closet for a minute. Just a
Exactly.
minute. Yeah.
And I think that that's really important. I think
Yeah.
if you are living with other people, it's really important to find some of that alone time and allow other people in the home to have some alone time. I think that that's a huge, huge thing. If
Mm-hmm.
they've always been wanting to learn that you can learn right now, I mean, obviously, it's probably not horseback riding, but if it's something you can do in your home, this is the time, baby. Do it.
So what are you picking up anything new?
Um, oh, just learning how to make courses and learning how to create
Yes.
direction patterns and all kinds of things.
Yes, girl. Yes. That's awesome. I'm like doing all sorts of stuff for wood burning stuff in the very little time that I have.
Of
But
course.
I got a ukulele, and Fender right now, everybody who's listening, Fender is doing free lessons for 3 months on their website. Yeah.
What?
And it's like guitar and ukulele and a couple other string instruments, but like, yeah, really cool. So I've picked it up and tried it, and it's really fun.
That's well, and that's great because I've been wanting to learn the guitar. I have a guitar. I took a college class, but it was a little too structured for me.
If
So,
you have it, this is nice because you can do it at your own pace. You should do it. If you already have a guitar, this is like the perfect chance to like force yourself to do something like that. And they
uh,
just recommend like 7 minutes a day. It's so like you can do seven
oh,
minutes a day.
yeah, I think we can handle 7. That's
Right,
all.
exactly. So anyways, okay, back to questions because I want to get to the wood burning stuff. Let's do this.
Okay.
Um, so how did you first start wood burning, and like when was the first time that you picked up a wood burning tool?
So the first time that I picked up a wood burning tool was in 2011. It was our wedding anniversary. It's like that 5th anniversary when wood is the traditional
Yeah,
uh, sense to give.
gift. Yeah.
So I wanted to give some of that traditional nonsense, and my sister had a wood burning tool. And I was talking to her. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And she goes, you should burn some art on a little box and put something in it. And I thought, you can do that? Like,
Yeah.
that's cool, you know?
Yeah.
Always been drawing, and I've always been the one that plays with fire. And so it was like this perfect mix. Anyway, so in 2006 or 2011 is when that happened, and I loved it, but it wasn't my tool, so I had to give it back. A couple years later, my sister, a different sister, she moved into a new home and she was wanting to have some benches around her property. And so I wood burned a bench for her. I went and bought my own tool this time. And by the end of the project, I broke it. I was like,
You're
oh,
like, whoops.
you can't muscle it. You can't push it. Okay, good to know. Anyway, so I busted my tool on it, but I had a great time. And then we moved across the country. This we'd been moving years and years over this all this time. Anyway, finally in 2016, it was like, I gotta have this. I love it. It was so much fun. I bought myself another machine, but I couldn't really justify it. So in 2016, when I was trying to justify buying this cheap burner, I decided to look up on Etsy what sells. And wood spoons was the only thing I could find that was actually selling on Etsy. And I was like, okay, guess what? I'm going to make wood spoons. So in 2017 is when I started doing more wood spoons. And that's kind of where it started.
And took off from there, and you just haven't looked back.
Nope. It's been
Not full speed ahead.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I started doing like really cool designs on my spoons and real intricate art. My sister was like, "You need to do something bigger," and I was like, "Yeah, but I'm gonna ruin a piece of wood, and what if it's not that good? And what if I'm not that good? And all this other stuff." And she's like, I dare you." And I was like,
Yo, that's all you needed.
"Oh, that's exactly what I needed." And so she dared me. So I took a big,
That's the redhead. That's the redhead, by the way, in case anybody's wondering. That's the redhead then. Oh, you dare me? Okay. All right.
dare me, I'll show you, you know. So I'll take yours there. And anyway, so I burned a 3-foot board and I loved it. And I was so excited after that. It was like,
I
I
just
can't.
love that you're like, let's just jump straight to the big. Let's just go right there.
What I can find.
Um, I know that you're like a super crafty person in
Yeah.
general, and like super artistic across many aspects. She's one of those like Jack of all trades or Jill of all trades, whatever you would say. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, I want to know like what other hobbies and crafts and things that like you've been doing lately or that you still enjoy doing. I know singing is something that you are. I mean, this woman has an amazing voice. In case you guys haven't heard, she sings all the time. It's great.
Life is a musical. Don't
Yeah.
let it otherwise, because it is. Um, everything can be said in a movie quote or a song. So
Yeah.
anyway, I still love to sing. I still play the piano. I'm not very good at reading music, but I love to compose music. Um, I still sew, but not all that often. Um, gosh, there are so many arts and crafts, but those are, if I
The
stare at
main ones.
a giant list, those are probably the big ones. Although, I mean, lately it's been building things. We built
Yes.
barns for my pantry. Ah, I'm so in love with them. They're so make me so happy. So
You know, it's the little things, right? Like you finally got the doors that you wanted on your pantry. You're like, yes.
like that's a big life-changing thing. At the same time, every time I walk past my pantry, I'm like, ooh, so
Yeah.
pretty. I touch it. So
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. I so get it. Um, so I would love it if you would show everybody some art pieces, if you have some lying around to show off just what you do and your work and all of that stuff.
okay, so some of my favorites are things like this guy because he was
Yes.
my first bone and made me so happy. And I have like 9 skulls in my backyard now that we just scavenge out of the woods that are already dead and gross.
Look at that
Most of them
thing.
we try that.
Can you bring it in nice and close for us, will you? Yes. So good, right? Has anybody burned on bone before? Because um, it's smelly, to say the least.
Totally stinky nonsense. Blech. Yeah, hit the heart button if you've done bone because it's yucky.
Yeah,
But
it is.
it is.
But it's what else you got there?
So my other
Any other
one
pieces?
that is my favorite is this guy right here.
I love this piece. That's Jannie and her husband.
My wedding anniversary gift
Beautiful.
here. So it was my
It's almost life size, isn't it?
yeah
It's
yeah.
almost life size. I didn't realize it was that big.
It's me that
Yeah, look. It's so beautiful.
thank you. It's fun. We have that one
So,
hanging up in our bedroom so that
so good.
it's just fun. So those are probably my big favorites, but I love
Well, and
burning.
for
It's
good
fun,
reason.
as we all do.
Really cool. You've done so many
Thanks.
good ones, though. Even just the one that you did recently of your profile, that piece was stellar.
Oh, this one?
Like
You mean
that one was so good. Yes, that one. Yep. So beautiful.
honestly, I've had this in my mind for a couple of months and I just never did it. Never did it, never did it, never did it. And then Burnt March came and it was like, well, and thank you in the comments.
If
Thank you.
yeah.
There were so many times when I kept thinking I should just burn this. But every time that I thought about it, I don't know if you guys can see, but there's the profile.
Mm-hmm.
It was always a mountain because this is kind of my self-portrait. I was always a mountain and there was always a beautiful lake because you have to have a place to play at the same time that there were forested places because you have to have that quiet side of yourself that's just for you. But then my sky always changed. Always. Every time I thought about it, it was different. There was a galaxy. There was a totally sunshiny day. There was a sunset, a sunrise. I mean, you just name
I
it.
feel like you need to make all of them. Like you
You
should just
know,
make all of them. You know, a series of different skies.
I should. It was and then when I finally did sit down to do this, I was kind of hit hard by so many things. People I know whose businesses had to shut down, people I know who lost loved ones and can't have those funeral services right
Yeah.
now.
No.
And anyway, all of those kinds of things at the same time that I wanted to not give up. We still need to have the hope. And so
Yeah.
it was like, then, okay, it needs to be a cloudy sky with the sun coming through.
Yeah.
Because, like the other redhead said, the sun will come out tomorrow. And
Yeah.
you just gotta hang on, you know? And so, anyway, it just kind of, one night I told Reed, that was one of my nights of, no, it's a studio night.
Yeah.
I'll see you.
I have to get this burned. Yeah. Yep. Oh, it's such a beautiful piece, Jannie.
Thank
Like,
you.
just such a beautiful piece.
I'm so
Let's start. I think we should give the people what they know what your favorite tools are. They want to know what the one can't live without. So I want to do the same thing that I did to Allie, which I'll let you show us all your favorites, but I want to know one nib, one type of wood, and one like non-essential but essential to you tool. What would they be?
okay. So first of all, I guess I didn't unplug this guy, but my Coalwood, just sweep this way. There's my
There it
Coalwood.
is.
Yep. This
Is that the detailer? Which one is that?
Yeah, it's the detailer. So it's got it down there. Is it backwards to you?
Yeah, of
Probably is.
course. It's
Okay.
okay.
If you guys are backwards, that's detailer right there. And this one is the first burner that I bought outside of my cheap wood burners, you know, once I got out of the soldering iron style. This was my
Yeah.
first wired. And my favorite tips.
Well, you only get to choose one right now.
Right. So I'm looking at
You can
this
show
here.
all of them in a minute, but I want to know which one. If you're only bringing one on the island, which one would it be?
If I'm only bringing one, I'm probably bringing this baby. This is my shader. Boy, is that not here?
Yep.
Now you can see it. But this shader, there are some that are bent up, but I don't like them bent up. I like it straight like this. I find that this is really good for drawing the lines. It's really good for the flat shading and all that kind of stuff at the same time that I can
Boy,
get
someone's
and
coming.
someone's coming.
What do you? Oh, thank you. Okay, time to go
Oh, that's
downstairs
so
now. I love you.
that is so adorable. Those are the best.
Isaac, can you go downstairs with Daddy? Can you go downstairs with Daddy, please?
He's super
He's
cute
the
though. Yeah, for sure.
and my favorite flower, you guys.
So sweet.
Okay, I'm sorry. Please continue.
Okay.
You
You are just
can
fine.
you hear my husband? Can you hear Mr. Woodburn Corner? He was just like, Isaac, come on. Anyways, please continue. I'm so sorry, guys.
We know this story. So if I had to bring one tool, it'd be this baby, and it
Okay.
would be the detailer,
Yes.
and it would be
piece?
the
What
willow.
willow?
Willow. Yeah, yeah. So I got tired of people asking me, what's your favorite wood? And I'm like, well, of the three that I've ever burned in my life, I like this kind. You know, it was like, that's irritating. I got to know what my favorite wood is. And now
Yeah.
I know of like 10 woods that I love, 2 woods that I hate, and probably 3 or 4 more that I'm itching to try. So,
Oh yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I love it. Okay, willow. And then your favorite non-essential tool, but it's like an essential tool to you because you love it so much and you would want it there with you on the island.
right.
Remember, this is a lovely island where you get all of the same type of wood. So you're just gonna get so much willow wood and you're gonna have never-ending supply of energy, power. What is that?
Chisel.
I can't even see what it is.
It's a chisel.
Chisel. Chisel. Okay.
Chisel. It's a chisel because I make a lot of mistakes and I need
So
an
you use
eraser.
a chisel.
Yes. So some people use a razor blade, and that's nice. That works for the most part. And at the same time, this can do everything a razor blade can do. But the times really dug in deep and I just made a huge mistake, I can dig it out.
You can really get it.
If I'm on the desert island, I can make my own sandpaper, right?
I mean,
I gotta sand it off.
I would consider, I feel like sandpaper is an essential tool that you would have
Okay.
I feel
So
like that's not, yeah, I'm not sure that that's like a non-essential tool. That's like an essential tool. You know what I mean?
yes, I agree. I agree. So then this I could check off. People are asking
Yeah.
which ones do you hate? Are you wanting to take those at the end or you want to take those
Pine.
now? Oh yeah.
I hate pine.
Yeah, pine. I did not
Yeah.
realize that pine was as yucky as it was until I burned something else.
Mm.
So wooden spoon, so I knew beech wood was nice. And then I
Mhm.
burned pine as my 3 foot piece, fought the sap. I fought the grain. I fought everything about that thing. And I remember thinking, hearing people say, pine, what's, oh, don't burn pine, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, oh, you big sissies, you can't burn pine. And then I go and burn other stuff and I'm like,
Oh, it's just
I want
because
to
the
touch
other ones
it
are
again.
better. Got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that and ash. I hate burning ash. And that one keeps coming up. It's a popular one. Everyone's like, oh, ash. Oh, I burned on ash. And I'm like, why did you burn on ash? I'm putting my chisel down. Why did you burn on
I
ash?
don't, yeah. She, well, I don't mind ash too much. I don't think ash is too bad. It depends. Maybe it was
I
the
think,
grain cut or something like that. You know what I mean?
yeah, well, because the rounds are harder because they have all the grain. But if you
Yeah.
can get a slab, that's
Right.
better.
Yeah.
But I mean, the times when I've burned ash comparatively, I'm like, no, thank you. I will buy so many other woods before I buy ash.
Yeah. There's a lot of other good woods out there, that's for sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we know. Okay, now let's see the other nibs that you want to show us. The ones that you are like, these are the one your go-to ones that you use most often.
Okay. So I already showed you my
Your number
shader,
one.
my number one. Yes, for sure. And then this one would probably be my next number one. Can you
Oh
see
yeah,
that
that's
one?
a good one.
Right. The classic writing tip.
Yeah, it's
Um,
like a writing or a drawing nib. It
yeah,
looks yeah, it can do all
that's right.
sorts.
Calls it the drawing nib. Um, anyway, I love these for all my lettering. I love these for when I want to make clean lines at the same time, kind of shade things in a little bit. So I feel like this is another really versatile tip.
You
And I
can
can
use
do,
it for all sorts of things. Yeah.
and I love the multi-purpose nonsense. And so then this one is a ball tip.
Mm-hmm. A tiny
And
little ball.
yeah, tiny, easy, itty bitty. And I have a smaller one, but those ball tips are also really nice for writing and really fun
Mm.
for those finer lines. Those are pretty much my favorite. If I'm doing something small though, then I want to shade with my itty bitty shader. It's just,
That's like that one's like Allie's favorite.
is it?
Yeah. She likes the little spoon shader.
This is the one that I burned this baby with.
Mm. You did the whole
But
thing that with that one nib,
except
except the darkened area. Yeah.
that part. Yeah, that
Makes
part
sense.
I did with my knife tip.
Yeah.
Some of them call it calligraphy point. Anyway, but then as far as my wedding portraits go, I usually use the bigger shader for that. So anyway,
Nice.
those are my favorites. I love those.
Okay. What piece of advice would you give to someone who's starting out in wood burning? Like, what would be like your number one piece of advice that you could give to someone?
My number one piece of advice is don't be afraid.
Mm,
Because I so many times we are afraid to try new things. We are afraid to mess up a piece of wood. We are afraid to spend money on a tool that might make our life easier. And
mm-hmm.
there are so many things that we're afraid of. Ditch it, let it go. Just try something new. Just bust out that piece of wood. If you're nervous about spending the money, because I get that, I want it to be cheap too. Go to Amazon, find the cheap poplar squares. They're like 36 in a pack for 15 bucks. That's like in the end like 40 cents a piece. Fantastic practice wood. It's poplar. It'll burn nicely. Get out there and enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
And then you have pieces to just mess up and throw away if you want to,
Yeah. But
Don't
there's
be a,
also, you can also sand your mistakes. You can also just sand the whole thing down and start anew, you
and
know?
I can't tell you how many times. So,
Right.
It's good.
Okay,
I think
I
that
love
whole
that.
artists.
Don't be afraid, you guys. That's a great piece of advice. Okay, so then my next question kind of leads into that, and it's more like things that you have learned the hard way, and that you would like to share with everybody so that they don't learn it the hard way.
Mm-hmm. Um, use tools that make you happy. Or you break them. Like I can't tell you, I have broken 3 of the cheap burners because in the end, I I didn't get the ones with the heat gauge. Okay, so it wasn't a walnut hollow. Now that I have a walnut hollow one, I can see that you can do so much more with it. So get the
Mm-hmm.
temperature controls, but so maybe that's what I should say is get something with a temperature control because it just
Yeah, right.
it's
Would have that would have saved you money in the long run having one, 3 of them.
so much.
Oh no! Can you
And
guys hear
I
Jannie?
had can you hear me?
Oh, you're kind of breaking
There,
up a little bit. Can you guys hear Jannie? Okay.
I'm not seeing any response.
Can
Can
you
you guys hear
hear
me?
me? Yeah, it's just I think it's still working. Um, okay, where were we? I'm sorry.
Okay,
The internet connection is such a bummer.
that's okay. That's totally okay. But I feel like getting a heat gauge saved me hours. There was a piece I did. Um, it was on a wooden spoon, and it took me, um, gosh, days to do. And then I did this like in an hour, and the other one took me days. And it was like this was wire nib, the other one was no heat gauge or anything, and that was such a royal stinking pain.
Yeah,
So,
it's amazing how like you think that you don't need an upgrade or a different tool, and then you go and you try and you're like, I get it now. And it's not to say that
mhm.
the other tool doesn't do a great job. Like the solid nib burners, there are people that use the walnut hollow tool, and that's the only tool that they use, and they are phenomenal artists. Manissa Robinson, who wrote the book on realistic animals. I mean, look at this thing. This
Yeah.
is all my books
Well,
are
and she
falling.
will work. She really does.
She
Love it.
does everything with the Versa tool. Hippie North, she also does everything with the Versa tool. So it's not to say that you can't get amazing like finished products with that tool. It's just that you can save time with the heat up and the cool down and the switching of nibs and all of that stuff just by switching to a wire nib.
Totally one of those people that's like, I'm trying not to say accident prone, but I'm totally one of those accident prone people. And I burn myself, I hurt myself. And so if I can have a tool that cools off faster, that's really better for my health and safety. So,
It's
anyway,
so funny because I've only burned myself once. The whole time I've been wood burning, I've only ever burned myself once.
bravo.
So it was at a show, and I was leaning over to reach for something and just bumped it because I was out in public someplace and was not paying
Not,
it as close attention. But yeah, I haven't, I mean,
no,
but it hasn't
I'm
only one time.
nuts. And I seriously, there was one time when I quite literally cauterized a giant hole in my finger. And it was one of those things where I had a glove on this hand because I was tired of burning this hand and I burn with this hand. And I went to go get a different something and it wasn't, I think it was a piece of wood and I went to wipe off the wood. But
And
dummy,
you
put
just,
your down. And I'm just like, bink, oh, whoops. And so I had the hole, but it was cauterized, so it didn't hurt that bad. But it was like, can I not cauterize
oh my
myself?
gosh,
Anyway, some of us
so
need
funny.
to use
Yeah,
tools
safety, guys,
down.
safety.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I'm Kosovo and from all over the place. It's really awesome you guys are here. Thank you for this interview. We're having so much. Okay, I'm like, I want to know more. I want to know all about Burn Savvy. If you guys don't know
okay.
about Burn Savvy, she just launched a website, and if you haven't checked it out yet, you really should. There's much great information there. So much great information. Okay, but tell us more, please.
So Burn Savvy was born because in 2016, when I started, I was looking for information for beginners. I was looking for information, just basics. I didn't even know safety. I mean, and that's
Yeah, oh, me neither. Yeah.
But I had zero idea that burning woods could be toxic. I had zero idea um, even which burner to choose. I tried to research it and I was like, oh, there isn't anything out here.
Uh-huh.
And I buy these books and they were way over my head. And then I'd buy another book and it was encyclopedia. And I'm like, I just need this much information and I can't find it. So Burn Savvy was born out of rescuing people like me who want to wood burn. And I just want to give you a jump start. I kind of want to be that short. I want to give them book reviews for beginners, book reviews for that encyclopedia when you're ready for it. I want to help you get tips. I want you to, and techniques. I want you to know what kind of woods you should and shouldn't. All of that kind of stuff. I felt like there was so much information that just needs to be there, just short and sweet, put it out there. So that's where that's from. And I can't get my ideas out fast enough. I have so many things.
Feel you on that.
Yeah, I do. I know you do.
That's what's so great about us, you guys, and this is something that everybody should know, is that Jannie and I have a lot of similar goals with our businesses and stuff, but we both completely get the idea and understand community over competition, and that there is more than enough room for both of us and both of our ideas, and some of it will cross over, some of it won't, but we are going to be there supporting each other through it all, because that's what community over competition is, and that's what we believe in, you know. So
when her book comes out, you're going to see a review of it on Burn Savvy, just so you know.
Well, you may get a then, Missy. We'll see.
That's exciting. I hope so. I'm excited for your book. I think it's going to be really, really good. Just a little bit. I know.
Yeah.
I think so.
Well, and Jannie has known about it longer than most have known about the whole process, and started, and when it started, and when I was signing contracts and all of that stuff. So she's been there through it all. Yeah. So I want to know, okay, so Burn Savvy, everyone should go and check it out. It's BURNSAVVY.com, right? BurnSavvy.com. Very easy to remember. And there's so much great information there. So go and check it all out. Spend some time, look around. Seriously, sign up for her newsletter too. Like, do it all.
I got a he's coming there too. Sorry, there's a delay here. I hope I'm not too far behind.
I know it's very slight. Yeah. Okay, I want to know what else you have going on. Like, what this year, like, if you have a couple of goals that you want to share with us, where we will help you by encouraging you and supporting you in these goals. Like, we'll be the people that are like, hey, Jannie, how's that thing going that you said you wanted to work on?
You guys will be that little poke saying, hurry up, hurry up.
We'll be the encouragement. There
you go. So one of the things that I want to do, along with the whole Burn Savvy thing, this whole dream, is I want to put together pyrography courses online, just courses. And the idea behind these courses is not to take you from, you're a beginner, let's do everything under the sun. That's not what I'm after. I want to be that shortcut. I want to help you to be able to say, okay, I want to learn shading, and I don't want it to look like a three-dimensional object that's kind of fake. I want it to look realistic. Well, there's a certain level that you got to know about art and all that kind of stuff. At the same time, you could spend your entire lifetime just studying all that nonsense. And so I want to make a course that makes it basically, here's the straightest point from A to B. The fastest way to learn to shade, the fastest way to make it look the way that's satisfying to you. Because I know that there are times when when I first was learning to draw people, for example, and their face looked three-dimensional, but it wasn't proportional and it looked really terrible and stuff. And that's more of an advanced course that I eventually want to teach. But when I polled my Instagram people and I polled my Burn Center email group, I asked them, what do you want to learn? And the two things that came back over and over and over, there were lots of things, but the two were shading and
Mm-hmm.
portrait. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, well,
Not
portrait?
surprising that they want to learn those things from you.
Well, thank you. Um, and portraits are super advanced. So I was like, well, let's back up just a minute and let's do shading. That's an intermediate
Mm-hmm.
course. You need to know
Mm-hmm.
your burn. You need to be comfortable with it. And I plan to put out some free workshops that help with getting you comfortable with your burner. But those courses are designed to help those people who just want to up their game. Can I just do that
Yeah.
real quick? Because once you do that, you reach that level of satisfaction. Then when
Yeah.
you go to books, you know what they're talking about. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, yeah. And then suddenly those books are an empowering thing to you, not an overwhelm. Oh my goodness, I don't know what the devil I just read. So
Yeah.
that's my goal, is to simplify things and streamline it, get you there from A to B, and then you can go read your books.
There's a bird. I'm sorry. There's a bird pecking at my screen right now.
Get off the screen. You're going to ruin my screen.
Well, there's a hole in the screen, and now I know why. I think they must be using it to make the nest.
That's kind of cute and kind of obnoxious.
I know, a little bit of both, and very distracting because I'm like, what is that sound? It's like right here above my head. That is a great goal, and one that we will all be on you about, because I want to learn how to shade like you.
Awesome. Well, that sounds great.
I do.
So I have several courses planned throughout the year, but 5 kids, farm, I'm just going as fast as I can. So
just don't stretch yourself too thin. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself. There's a quote about needing to have the strong roots in order to have the fruitful tree. So make sure you're taking care of yourself.
Absolutely. Actually, I really love that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, it was told to me recently by a friend of mine, and I was like, oh, that's a good one.
That's a really beautiful analogy.
I know, I really like it. I do well with those types of things where it's visual imagery. I know you do too. There's been plenty of times where you've said something where I'm like, it makes sense to me now. Like, thank you, Jannie. Just visually, you needed to tell me something, and then concept, clicked.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm like, 40, so there you go. You give me one, I give you one. We'll just share our corny analogies. And actually, I love that. So all you corny.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Okay. I want to see a couple of things in your room, and a couple maybe techniques or some burning, if you have and can show us a couple of things. But I would also love, while you're maybe getting the phone situated, is to show everybody some of your storage solutions that you have in place, because I haven't seen things that are quite as good as this, and you made most of them yourself, I think, right?
Make some of these for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. Here's the turnaround button. There it is. All right. Did it turn around?
Yeah.
Are we there? Okay, hold on. I made a mess of my table here.
That's okay.
But this here, let me clear this nonsense, and then I will quit making you sick. I'm sorry. Everybody look away.
You're fine. You're doing just fine.
Okay, so this here is a box that I drilled some holes in it because I couldn't quite open it the way I wanted to. That's where I keep my tips. All my nibs and stuff like that. They go right in here. This is a piece of foam that it's like for a pad of a chair or something like that. And you take your wood burning tip that has the knife cutter, and you just fence right in there, and you're done. It's fabulous, and it protects my tools from going back and forth too much and all that kind of stuff. Oh, not that one, but I've got some here that are like fixed tips. Sorry.
Yeah.
And this helps because when you put them in something that's flat they can get burrs on them and they can get broken and they can get all kinds of nonsense. So I put it in here so they have a nice little place to sleep. And then I have other things I keep on top of here, and
So
it helps
cute.
to keep that going. Something else that I made, hold on just a second, show and tell. It's This is my dish for holding my hot tips. So
Is it just a seashell?
yeah, it's just a seashell
So
and
cute.
it rocks back and forth. So I took a piece of scrapbook paper, and I hot glued it to the bottom. So if you want to make one of these, take your seashell, figure out where it sits on the bottom, put a ring of glue on it, and then put that on a scrapbook paper. As soon as that's cool, then you just take your
Now you
razor blade.
got a perfect little spot.
Yeah, and you just cut it right off of there. I took sandpaper actually and just sanded those edges. Boom. I have a place to
That's
keep.
so cute.
Oh,
A
makes me
hot
happy.
nib.
Yep,
It's very
exactly.
cute.
Yes, and these are nibs. I'm totally breaking all the rules here and saying whatever I want. Okay, so
Oh, I
this
call them
here,
nibs. That's my go-to word for it, because I think tip and point can both be confusing as far as, like, if you're talking about wood burning tips, like tips and tricks, or if you're talking about wood burning like nibs,
yeah,
when you're calling them
yes, but
tips, you know,
oh,
and then point can also be
yeah,
confusing. Are you making a point, or is it I go for the term nib. I think it makes the most sense.
awesome. Well, that's good to know, actually. I like that a lot. So this here is my hollow case for the walnut hollow burner. Blah de da. So this was just a box that I got from Michael's, and um, I honestly don't remember how much it was, but this fit perfectly. What's that? I couldn't hear you. Oh, I can't hear you, Rachel. But this is, I'm going to keep talking. Hopefully, I'll start hearing you soon. But this is where I keep my case. I've got this here. I've also burned little X's right there to keep these tips right where I wanted them. So you can see all of that. I I also burned big fat holes right there so I could put my tweezers in them. Can you hear Rachel? Yep. You don't know why this keeps happening. I read your lips. She doesn't know why this keeps happening. But I'm glad you guys can hear me. I'll just, entertain from the background. Maybe we could do some bad lip reading. Well, anyway, so this is my storage solution for the walnut hollow thing. And hopefully we can hear Rachel. Do we need to just restart this real quick? Rachel, you want to restart? Cue the circus music, right? Hmm. Okay, Rachel, say something. Okay.
Well, I really thought we were going to make it through. It happened again. I'm sorry, guys. I hope you can hear me now. Yes, can everybody hear? Yes, yes. Um, I have unplugged everything. I contacted my internet provider. I've done so many things to prepare for this, but tonight we're going to move the router to closer to my office and hope that that helps. So cross your fingers and hope that it'll be better tomorrow. Let me see if I can get Jannie back in here. I don't see her yet. Jannie, where are you? But anyways, it's very frustrating. I'm hoping it'll be better tomorrow. We almost got through it all, you guys. We only had 10 minutes left. So we almost made it through. Okay, here, let's get Jannie on here. Here she comes. It's waiting. Now it's just connecting. There she is.
Hello, there you are. I hear you now.
I don't know why this is happening, but it's very frustrating.
Yeah.
Okay, back to showing us around. I think everybody could hear all about your box and how you store your burner and all of that stuff. Will you continue doing the tour and show us some burning too?
Yes. So just real quick. Oh, go ahead.
And I just wanted to say, while she's showing us everything and while she starts burning, if anybody has any questions for Jannie, please just write them down and I will ask her as she's working.
Absolutely. So I don't know if you can see this against the light, but these are just little office-y type organizers. And they have my sandpaper, my pens and pencils. It has my chisel and my scissors and all that nonsense. I have over here a couple of oatmeal that I have cut up. This is a curtain rod in case anyone decides they need to copy, and some S-hooks right here. And that's holding up all this happy nonsense. And I mean, even my wood spoons, they all go in my oatmeal containers.
I love the repurposing. It's so fabulous.
It works really well. And then I took some of these pieces of pine that I decided I wasn't going to burn and turned them into shelves. Yeah, and then I found this baby boy. If I can step back here, it's a monster. But this was free at the yard sale, and I painted it blue because I had Oops paint on hand. And then we secured it to the wall with a bunch of screws at the top and the bottom. And that has, I keep most of my finished pieces in here and the pieces I'm working on. And then all of my
keep them out of sunlight that way. That way they stay really nice and brand new looking.
Protected from the sunlight. Sure. So that's my workspace. I have a fan, if you can see it right there. Let's see if I can get the sunlight out of there. I have a fan right there. It's usually a little more cleared up. Well, who am I kidding? It usually has like 12 projects on there, but I clear space. That's kind of a sunlight lamp, so I can keep working at night with decent eyes. I've got another lamp up above there, my pyro calendar right there, Burn Club calendar right there. And then just that's pretty much it. I usually hang my mask from my chisel that hangs out of here. So that's my storage solutions. I have a little basket down here that has my bean bags. I use that to prop up my wrist so I don't get carpal tunnel or whatever, cramps. That's my garbage. More wood, lots and lots of wood. I took it down because I was using the space, but let me try not to make you all ill here. That's my art table that I can move off of there, and that is stick.
It like sits on your desk, right? And you can just arch it up so that you're working at an angle, correct?
Yes, for sure. Let's see here. So you can see here, this comes down, that stands, and then I have a flat working space right there, and it's fabulous. And I love it. So anyway, and it's nice because I can take it off and have a flat table if I want a flat working table. So, you know, for my pieces that are 300 times the size of my working space, I can pull it off. So anyway, and that not only for my posture, but it helps my fingers because when I'm holding this guy, that heat goes right up into my fingers and burns my fingers. But if I have it at an angle, it goes kind of up in between and it's less hurt. So anyway, there we go.
Somebody was asking where we're from, California, and Jannie's in Arizona.
Arizona, Northern Mountains, baby. I'm not cooking in Phoenix. It's a great place to live.
I'm in the Bay Area of California.
Yeah. Which is
in the United States.
Let's see here. Now I'm going to put this on my tripod. Look away if I make you sick, okay?
All right, just look up here, guys. I'll do a little dance while she organizes things. But she's going to do a little live burning. so that you can see her in action and ask any questions you have. And she'll kind of talk you through whatever it is that she's working on. And hopefully it'll be super informative too.
Doesn't want to work. How annoying. Give me just a second.
See, all right. I can see that your desk. Okay.
Okay, well, it's not letting me see. So I'm trying to. You know what? You just tell me the questions because now I'm really
dance break. Yeah. Sarah says we need a little dance break.
Dance break. Okay, everybody. Turn it that way.
Your dance break. Perfect.
I'm so helpful. I got to join.
All right. So what
okay.
are you working on? I can't wait to see what we're going to see today.
Gosh, there are so many things that I'm working on, Rachel. Mercy. I don't know what to start with here, but hold on.
Well, and I realized I wanted to show people a couple of things that I have. So I have only, I think, one piece that is Jannie's. This is her piece here that she did on our little frame. And it's got a funny story because she actually finished coloring it on the very last day in the parking lot where we were moving her into a different car. And it was so funny. We're just sitting there and she's like, I've got time right now. So she grabbed the colored pencils and finished the piece on the very last minutes of our time together at the retreat last year.
That's just kind of how I roll, right? Just last minute here.
Well, it was kind of rushed because everybody needed to get a turn on it, and it was,
yeah,
you were busy. We were busy.
We had things going on.
We kind of did, yeah.
Yeah, we did. We really did.
Look at that beautiful guy.
So here's something I've been working on off and on, because sometimes I feel inspired by him, and then sometimes I'm not. I kind of feel like one side looks angry and one side looks happy. So he's still a work in progress.
Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfectly symmetrical. It's totally fine.
That's true. So right now I'm burning at a 6, and I like to kind of burn kind of fast to kind of, so I don't burn a hole in anything, but I like to burn at a higher heat. So when I am working on it, instead of taking it down, I just tend to go faster.
Go faster.
Yeah.
Well, you really trust your hand too, and that's a big part of it, is that you trust that your hand is going to go in the right spot.
Huge. I think one of the things that another thing I would recommend for people who are learning how to shade is to start at a lower heat. So I'm going to turn this down right now. To start at a lower heat, and then you can learn where to place your burner. Like right now I'm going a little too fast for it, but if I slow down just a little bit, I can still get a nice looking burn, and as you get more savvy with your burning, you will learn to, like you said, trust your hand. And honestly, it feels so good when you can crank the heat. I'm turning it back up to 6 and just start working. One thing, I'm just going to give a little quick tip here. When you're burning realistic, or shading, I should say, because it doesn't have to be realistic, just burning shading. The way you hold your pen matters. It really matters, because you want to make sure that if you come up this way, that it's nice and flat, right? But if you burn on this, you get the edge and suddenly you got fur, right?
Yeah.
That kind of a thing. And I think so many times people forget that the way that you hold it makes a huge difference on your piece.
Well, and the direction that you're going. So it depends on which way you're going, if you want to hold it a certain direction, and hold it a certain way.
Exactly. Well, and whenever I am shading, I try not to make a hard line, because out in nature, there really is no hard line. It's generally soft and edges. So you might have a hard edge, like this guy, right? Let's see if I can get it. There's an edge right there, but it's not a line, right? I smooth that in, and that has become an edge. And the more edges that you can make, the more realistic it'll look. The more lines you make, the more novice you're going to look. So when you make a line, smooth it out. Now I wish I had a hard something to show you here, but I don't. Oh, another thing is because I like to burn really hot, I blow
Hmm.
on it before I put it down. So even though you're supposed to come in all smooth, because it's so hot, it'll still put a blep on there where I don't want it. So I do gently blow on my nib to cool it off right as I'm starting out.
But you normally wear a mask, right, Jannie?
Oh yeah, normally wear a mask and I normally have that fan on.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not,
No, but
and
I used to do the same thing before I really started wearing the mask more often, and that was to blow on it first because it just cools it down just enough before you touch down that you don't get that overburn.
yes.
But
So
but
when
it's
you,
also good to wear a mask.
yes, it is really good to, it totally is. And I think it's really important too, especially when you're burning
Yes.
on sappy woods like pine or ash.
Yeah.
Those tend to get a little bit more sappy. So,
Well, and the sap smoke is you really don't want to be inhaling that. So
no, you don't.
anything where you're getting sapping, you really don't want to be burning that anyways.
Mm.
Someone is asking, they say, I have a true art burning set. Can I still achieve all these great techniques? Also, my pen occasionally gets too hot at the end where I hold it.
Yes. Okay. All good questions. You can absolutely get this with the True Art Burner, depending on which nib that you want to use, because some people love different nibs. You'll
Mhm.
want to figure out which nib works well for you. But this
Yeah.
can actually work for a True Art. It can actually work for the solid point tips, the really cheap burners that are less expensive. You know, the I should say $50 and under, whereas this was a $150 machine.
Yeah.
Then as far as heat goes, that is something I really struggle with. So let me show you some of my solutions real quick for heat on your fingers.
I have a couple of different burners and I've never come across the heat issue. And I'm not sure whether it's, I know that some people aren't taking breaks as often as they should and give your burner a rest, give your hand a rest, let it
Mm-hmm.
cool down for a minute. Um, but I also know that some burners just burn hotter than others. I know that like Coalwood, for example, people seem to wear more gloves when they use a Coalwood than you see people with raised tip, for example.
Yes, and that's absolutely true. It will differ based on your machine. Something else I should add here, this one is a fixed tip, and when I burn with this one, this does not get as hot. But this here is not a fixed tip. You pop this puppy right out of there, and this gets hot more often than a fixed tip.
Mm.
So if you are concerned about that, I don't know if this is the same person who has the True Art, but if you are concerned about that, consider getting pens instead of replaceable tips. But the caveat there is you tend to have more options with the replaceable nibs
Hmm.
versus fixed tip.
Yeah.
So there's a
And
trick.
it's less expensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you have,
And then
so,
uh, someone else was asking what kind of mask. The RZ mask. I really like the RZ masks. They have a bunch of them. You just want to make sure that it's a P95 rating or higher. That's, yeah, Janie's got an RZ mask too.
oh,
Really, they're comfortable and easy to put on, and they're
yeah,
great.
yeah, I think so. These are finger gloves for hairstylists. They work with the heat gun, the hot iron
Ah,
kind of stuff. That works well. They were too
I
long for me,
love
so
that. What a great.
yeah, it was nice because it got rid of some of the bulk right here. But at the same time, I also have this baby.
Which this still blows my mind that this is what you use.
Yep, I use this
That
guy.
you can get that you have enough control and feel like you have enough control with that massive glove on your hand blows my mind.
And I put this guy inside my glove because it still blisters through the glove if I'm not careful.
Wow.
I heat, and if I do that for an hour, I'm going to get a blister. So
Yeah.
this is something that you will often see me with this on.
Burning
And you
with
can,
that. Yeah.
from all the little burn marks, how many times it has saved my fingers because I also have a tendency to creep up on it. I like to hold it close. And that's
Jannie
not,
likes to hold hers like right here.
well, I like to hold my pencil like this,
Nice and
right
close. Yeah.
there. And so when I get going on the burner, I hurt myself. So I just put
Yeah.
on, anyway. So if that's helpful, get yourself either a pair of gloves or a set of salon style finger
Yeah,
guards.
that's such a smart idea. I love those crossovers when we start pulling different objects and things from different businesses and crafts and hobbies and things and art forms. You know, we're pulling
Yeah.
from the beauty world and hair cutting, and then like when we clean our tools, it's from like the knives world and stuff like that. And it's cool to see.
Oh, yeah.
And if please just ask away.
Feel free. And I put a lot of these things,
She's
thanks, such as these gloves. I've got those on my Burn Savvy site. So if you want to look at safety and things like that, I've got the tools listed there to give you more ideas. So something else too, just a technique real quick. If you choose to do one or the other, you either put in the details first and then add shading, or you shade it in and then add the details. That tends to help you to get a better idea of what you're working with.
we need to wrap up soon
Yes.
anyways because we've gone over, but that's not surprising considering it's the two of us. Um,
We're not little talkers, not at all.
yeah. But I did have a couple questions that I wanted to get to before we go. People were asking, Woodburn Queen asked, how did you come up with your name, Red Roof Barn?
That is an excellent question. So I wanted a name that wouldn't be um, construed one way or another. I just wanted something just kind of, you almost don't know what it is. It could have been anything.
Mm-hmm.
I could have been selling garden goods and produce at the side of the yard, you know. Um, but at the time that I was getting ready to start doing all of this, I had just moved into this house, and this house looks like a barn, and it has a metal red roof. And so when
Ah,
people ask me where I live, I'm like, oh, you know the house with the red roof? It looks like a barn. After a while, I'm like, you know the house that looks like a red roof barn? And it just kind of started flowing off my tongue. And after a while, I was like, I'm gonna.
Red Roof Barn.
That's
It's
kind
so
of
perfect.
so that's where I came up with it. And I think if you're looking for a business name that you love, that you want to have, find something that speaks to you. If you want something
Mm-hmm.
more charming, go the charming route. If you want something a little more crisp, a little more sassy, go with that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
anyway.
totally agree. Um, and then I had another question from, well, they were asking how you manage burning with five little ones running around. But
Oh,
I know, one supportive husband. Your
yes,
husband is a
absolutely.
supportive.
So, so good. Honestly, I couldn't do it without my Reed. I just love Reed to death. He is so, so good. When I need time, there are times when he'll put the kids down so that I can have a few hours just to myself to burn, to do burn savvy, to whatever it is that I want to do. Um, so that's huge. I have a nice support system there. The other thing is when things are normal,
Yeah.
not like when I've got everybody at home and can't do anything. I typically will do lots of things with the kids in the morning, meaning I spend time with them so they feel like they actually got mom time. Because if I don't give them mom time, I don't get my own time. Just the end. They have to, I have discovered that they have to have me. So if I take time to be with them, which usually consists of like we do chores first thing in the morning, and then we do some um, gosh, I can't even think right now. Anyway, we do things in the the animals, the morning chores outside for the for the farm. You can't hear me? I'm sorry that we can't hear Rachel, and I know that she's amazing and she's wonderful. To find wood burning. Yeah, they can hear me, but they can't hear you. I can read your lips though sometimes. So, so I'll talk. So Burn Savvy, if you want to learn how to wood burn, um, that's burnsavvy.com, BURNSAVVY.com. And if you want to find my art, for now it's on Etsy. Red Roof Barn is my Etsy shop. And I will be phasing into my own website as soon as I phase out my wedding line that I have on redroofbarn.com. So as soon as that goes, we'll have it all together. And join us next time because I know she's got more live videos coming all week long. You guys don't want to miss it. Honestly, she's fantastic and she's got a lot of fantastic people lined up. I believe next week she has sponsors or not sponsors, businesses, businesses that she'll be chatting with, right? Is that right? Anyway, follow along her midday stuff. So, ciao for now, everybody. And thank you for coming on. Oh, you're welcome. Mwah. Love y'all. Hugs and kisses. Good game. Swats all around. Bye.